Did you know that a single powerful swipe from a grizzly bear can easily break the skull of an adult bison? And what's even more interesting to note is that most bears in the wild aren't killed by humans, but by other bears. That's absolutely right. Yes, these massive and powerful creatures are usually shown alone in documentaries. During certain seasons of the year, they get into battles that are more like gladiator fights. So today, we're going to look at one of the deadliest battles in nature, where the line between predator and prey completely disappears. Bears are iconic symbols of the wild, and they're treasures whose sighting in nature is truly valuable. It's interesting to know that about 30 million years ago, bears and dogs looked similar because they evolved from a common carnivorous ancestor. They evolved over time. But as time went on, bears gradually became bigger and stronger, leading to the 8 species of bears we know today. They split into the brown bear, polar bear, American black bear, Asian black bear, giant panda, spectacled bear, which has markings around its eyes that look like glasses, sloth bear, and finally the sun bear, which has an orange or golden sun-shaped patch on its chest. In any case, all bears have one thing in common, a deadly package or a lethal kit called a roar. They also have powerful jaws and deadly claws, but each species has its own unique skills. That's what sets it apart from the others. Let's take a look at the lives of bears with a hidden wildlife camera and get to know an important bear species. The brown bear, whose scientific name is Oryx arctos. Brown bears are considered predators in their own ecosystem. These bears are among the largest land carnivores, but despite their appearance, they're not just after meat. Their diet is omnivorous, ranging from fish to berries, honey, plants, and sometimes even humans, dead animals, or even human garbage. In short, whatever they can get their paws on, they'll gobble it up. You can find brown bears in various parts of the world, from the forests of Canada and the Rocky Mountains to Siberia, Europe, and beyond. Even in parts of Iran, like the Alborz and Zagros Mountains. This diversity of habitats shows just how adaptable and resilient this species is. It can live just about anywhere. Basically, wherever there's food and humans don't get in the way, these bears reign supreme. Male brown bears can weigh up to 600 kilograms, or about 1,300 pounds. And when they stand on their hind legs, they can reach 2.5 meters, or over 8 feet tall. So, in short, they look pretty scary. But what's their daily life actually like? Well, brown bears usually live alone. They each have a clearly defined territory, and except during mating season, they're not really into social gatherings or hanging out. The males mark their territory with urine or by scratching trees, and if another bear enters their area, they might first warn it off with growls and threatening movements. But if that doesn't work, things quickly escalate to fighting with claws and teeth. In the spring, when they wake up from hibernation, they're hungry and skinny. They've been in quarantine for 6 months and now they're on the hunt for a double hamburger. You know, brown bears in different parts of the world sleep anywhere from 2 to 7 months. During this time, they don't die of hunger because their bodies have prepared in advance, and you could say that during hibernation, they enter a special survival state where they don't feel hunger. But when they wake up, the competition for food gets serious, especially in areas where resources are limited. Now, from here, things get more exciting. We're about to dive into a strange and brutal part of the story, interspecies violence. Picture the bears on a spring day in Katmai National Park, Alaska, where the rivers are filled with salmon and the bears jump into the water for an annual feast. But what we're seeing today isn't just fishing, it's a real fight. an adult male bear is involved. He gets into a clash with another bear. You can hear their growls from far away. Their claws slash into each other like swords, and drops of blood scatter across the rocks by the river. The question is, why do two bears, both of whom can eat fish, have to fight each other to the death like this? Well, one of the main reasons for such battles is to establish territory and for mating. In other words, during mating season, bears compete fiercely for their mates. The stronger males fight each other, so they can push aside the weaker males and get closer to the females ready to mate. In this situation, there are no rules, no mercy, and no chivalry. Of course, some animal behavior scientists believe that male bears sometimes even attack to kill the cubs of other bears. Because after losing their cubs, the females re-enter the mating cycle more quickly. Of course, we see this behavior a lot among lions too. Yes, nature can be this ruthless. Another theory says that this violence is a way to control the bear population, meaning in some natural areas like national parks or protected zones. Because there aren't any natural predators like wolves or humans to control the bear population. The number of bears could become too high. On the other hand, food sources like fish, plants, or small prey are limited in these areas and aren't enough for all the bears. That's why, when these conditions arise, bears control their own population through fighting, killing each other's cubs, or eliminating weaker males. And they relentlessly hunt each other, so that vital resources are left only for the stronger ones. This behavior is precisely called intraspecific aggression, but things get even more scarier when you truly realize that some of these fierce fights can potentially last for many hours. Break time equals 0.5s/. In one of National Geographic's documentaries, a 45-minute battle between two brown bears was filmed. In the end, one of them escaped limping with a broken jaw, and later its carcass was found several kilometers away. Now, an odd point is that in studies conducted on 35 bears, in northern Alaska, 7 cases of cannibalistic behavior among bears were observed. That means one bear ate another bear. But in my opinion, the animal world is much more brutal than what cartoons show. Those fluffy teddy bears we give each other on Valentine's Day, or the bears we played with as kids. The ones we used to play with as stuffed animals. In reality, in nature, they're actual killing machines. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever encountered a bear? Be sure to share your experience in the comments section. The battles between bears are a mix of biology, instinct, and evolutionary competition. This violence isn't just about survival, but also